Welcome. In this video we want to create an MCP server which fetches transcripts from YouTube videos, summarizes them and then sends it to our Notion database. So as you can see here, fetch the transcript for my latest YouTube video, MCP explained in 5 minutes. There we got the title, the transcript. This is in cursor by the way, and now it's looking for the Notion database. It's creating the actual summary and then it will save it in the database. And there you can see it saved the link, the title and the actual summary of the YouTube video. So this is a use case I use very often in my day-to-day life, summarizing YouTube videos, and it's really easy to build. So let's jump right into it. And as always, I will make this code available on my GitHub. So click the link in the description if you want to copy this repository. Now the best point to start is the actual Model Context Protocol website. Quick start server. First install UV. I already have it installed, but you can install it with this command. And then we want to initialize our project UV init YouTube transcript MCP, and we want to cd into it. Then create UV wenv source.wenv. Now we want to create our requirements.txt, which will simply have MCP CLI. We will also need the YouTube transcript API, request library and beautiful so4. And with that we can call uv add-r requirements.txt. we want to bring it inside this folder and then it will create everything, our pyproject.toml, where the dependencies are written down with the required Python version. So everyone using this MCP server has the same necessary dependencies and it won't come to any problems. The UV log is also a more detailed description of each package used here, the exact versions we're working with. In general, UV is basically a replacement for pip, you could say, which is even cleaner with the specific versions and way faster. Okay, so let's rename our main.py to fetch YouTube transcripts.py. So everything is built with our fast MCP server. So we simply import it and then we want to initialize it YouTube transcriber server, and we also, of course, need the from the YouTube transcripts API, the YouTube transcripts API. We also want to from BS4 import beautiful soup and also import requests and finally import logging. So simply set up our logging. Logging is simply a better way for print statements, so to speak. So when you deploy something on a server in a Docker container, you want to have logger configured instead of just printing some statements. It's really easy to create a tool for a server. We simply write add mcp.tool and create a simple Python function. Fetch YouTube transcript. As input, we want to give it the URL. What is important here that we also use type hints. So this URL will be a string and the output of our function or tool will be a Python dictionary. So, and the next important thing is to work with a docstring. The LM will see the input definition, the output definition, and also the description of this function. So fetch transcripts of a YouTube video. Now we want to look at the YouTube transcript API and how we can use it. We can simply instantiate the YouTube transcript API and then fetch the YouTube video by the ID. And that's the important part. We need the video ID, and the video ID will be the URL .split, and usually the ID is after v and an equal sign, and then we want to get the last part of the URL. Now as you can see, it will return a fetch transcript object, but we want to combine the text of everything. So fetched transcript, and then we want to full text will be equal to join of snippet.text for snippet in fetch transcript. It's basically a for loop which will iterate over each item and just fetch the transcript. Now what we also want to get next is the title. So video title equals get video title and enter the URL here. For that we will create a new function, and with that we want to return our dictionary transcript equals the full text and the title, the video title, of course. Now we also want to wrap everything in a try and except block. If something goes wrong, we want to catch it, and then we want to call the logger.error, and then we return simply an error and basically with the same error code here. And there we have our MCP tool defined, as easy as that. Now we want to also get the video title, simply URL, also a string, and the output will be a string as well. Retrieve the title of a YouTube video. We want to get the URL with the request library, get the HTML content by response.text, use beautiful soup HTML parser to find the title tag, and then just get the content of the title. And if there's no title, we just return title not found. So this is not an MCP tool, this is just a function which will be called in our MCP tool, so that this tool already returns title and full text. And I just saw we want to call this fetch transcript, not fetch YouTube transcript. Okay, and with that, we want to define the if name equals main, then we want to call mcp.run and simply define transport as stdio. So this will be for local deployment. In the next video, we want to deploy it on a server where we'll be using the SSE HTTP transport protocol, but for now this is good enough. So what we can do next to test it out is mcp dev fetch YouTube transcripts.py. After we click on yes, it will open up an UI where we can interact with our tool which we defined right now. We can simply now open this link. It will already contain the command which is necessary to run the server. So we can click on connect. Now it connected to our server, and at tools, list tools, fetch YouTube transcript, we can provide an URL. So let's test it out by providing the URL, run tool, and there we have a success. We fetched the transcript and also the title, MCP explained in 5 minutes, perfect. So now we know it works. Next thing, we want to use the Notion MCP server. So this is the open source version. We're not going to write the whole Notion server by ourselves. We're just going to integrate it. And for that, we want to go to our Notion profile, to the integrations. There you want to click on new integration. And then here in the new integration, we want to give it the capabilities, read content, insert content. You need to copy the integration secret here. And then you can define the access. So I defined the YouTube Summaries page, created the database there. So basically it looks like this. We have a summary table. So with that now, all we need to do, add the Notion API to our configuration. So we want to take the Dockerized version and simply copy this into our cursor mcp.json. So I will first show it in our cursor environment and then with a LangGraph client. So in our cursor preferences, cursor settings, under tools and integrations, we want to click add custom MCP, and here we are going to define it. Simply copy it, and that's the command, the Docker command. You need to input the secret here, which we previously copied from Notion, and then we also want to define our fetch YouTube transcription server and simply orient ourselves at this, where we just write the command, give the directory. So I just cd into the YouTube transcript MCP and copy the directory. So enter the absolute path, run, and of course it's called fetch YouTube transcripts.py. And now I'm going to enter my secret, and then we're going to test the chat. So now we can see our Notions API and our fetch YouTube transcription tools are enabled, and now we can test it out. Please summarize this YouTube video and save it to the YouTube Summaries Notion database. I also gave it the name here, YouTube Summaries database, and there we have it, calling the transcript tool. You have already seen it in the introduction. So here again, it's searching for the Notion database and then saving the summary. And there we have it. It saved the link, the title, the summary. Worked perfectly and was that easy. You have seen how to simply create a server in a couple of minutes for your use case. Also, just a quick thing, the integration of our MCP servers with LangGraph. So for that, we need the LangChain MCP adapters, and there we will add our different servers. We want to create a Chat Google generative AI. So I'm using Gemini here, and then simply with this MCP client call get tools. Then we want to create the React agent, which is a LangGraph pre-built agent to fast create your agents. And then we have our loop here, which gets messages and calls the tools. So we can test it out, LangGraph agent.py, and now it's waiting for input. And here we can also summarize, please enter a YouTube video. Then in the back it's going to call the transcription service, and as you can see, it worked perfectly fine. In the next video we want to cover how to deploy this on a server, how to use the streaming protocol. Following that, also talk about authentication and more. So I hope you liked this video. Thank you for watching. Click the like button, click the subscribe button, and see you in the next video.